Right, good evening guys. Just another quick video and talking about the RX10 Mark IV and all the other cameras out there really. I mean, the amount of cameras that are available to buy, either used or brand new, is ridiculous. There's hundreds out there. I've picked a few here that are not necessarily on par with the RX10 Mark IV, but they are an option. So if you're getting into photography and you want a bridge camera, so basically you've got an all-in-one, but it's more of a full-size camera, a bit like a DSLR or a mirrorless. It just allows, larger sensors, larger lenses and things like that, gives you better quality. But also there's a cost involved. And as we know, cameras are now moving on, mobile phones are moving on, but you still can't beat something like this. This RX10 Mark IV has, as you can see, it's got tape on it. It's been dropped, it's been bashed. It's 4 years old this year. And, you know, it's still going strong. It's done over 300,000 shots. Not that really counts really, because a lot of the time it's using the electronic shutter, not the mechanical. And the mechanical is actually a leaf shutter instead of a normal mechanical shutter that you normally get in a mirrorless camera or a DSLR. So its wear and tear is actually very low. The lens though is, it turns on, is obviously electronic zoom. So you can obviously zoom in and out like so. You also have a load of other electronic goodies on there that basically allow you to get some amazing shots. Other cameras out there, which are obviously much cheaper, still do an amazing job. But my thoughts are they ever going to replace this RX10 Mark IV? Because this is almost 4 years old, it's tatty, it's not working 100% like it should do. I get the odd random, it's got sand in the focus ring and things like that. It could do with service really, but I haven't sent it in. You know, it's been dropped a few times. You know, it's got scratches all over it and things like that. So, you know, it's done its job, end of the day. This has been used and abused, and also obviously technology has moved on. There's a much more high speed autofocusing now, even faster than this was. Higher burst rates and high quality sensors available. So, you know, the question is, are Sony going to release something? We still don't know. They're being very quiet. But also have to remember that the A7S II wasn't replaced by the A7S III for 5 years. So are they going to make us wait another year possibly? My thoughts were on this was the A9 was brought out in 2017. The RX10 was Mark IV was brought out in 2017. So derivatives of the A9 are in this. You know the algorithms and a few other bits and pieces are in this camera, which gives it this real fast working speed, faster than any other bridge camera out there. So, you know, it allows you to get birds in flight very easily, other fast moving objects very, very quickly. And with 24 photos per second, really, really cool. Are they going to release a new version of this now the A1 has been released? If you think about it, the A9 was the sort of flagship high-speed camera. Now the A1 is out. Are they going to sort of start utilising things from the A1 in a new version of one of these? I don't know. We can hope. I mean, it would, imagine having a £2,000 to £2,500 bridge camera that pretty much did what the A1 does, but in a all-in-one package. The RX10 Mark IV is not perfect. Obviously, we know that there's quite a bit of grain and noise at higher ISOs, but because you've got a fast f2.4 to f4 lens, you know, your shutter speeds can stay quite high and your ISO can stay low. So there are workarounds with this camera. The thing I would love to see on the new one would be a manual zoom lens rather than an electronic one. I don't know if that'll ever happen. Like I say, we don't even know if a replacement's coming. If they don't replace this, this is the real thinking point. If they don't replace this, what do you buy? You know, for me, I use the A7R IV, which I'm recording on now. with obviously multiple lenses. But I love this camera because you can just pick it up and go out for the day with a small bag, and this thing does so much stuff that is unbelievable. Everything from the slow motion video through to obviously high speed autofocus, 24 to 600 equivalent, f2.4 to f4. It's an amazing piece of kit, and you know, I originally paid when it first came out. I was one of the lucky ones to get this quite early compared to a lot of other people. Is, you know, it cost me 1,800 quid, but I think it's worth every single penny. I know you can buy it cheaper now. I know you could buy it from overseas or whatever a lot cheaper, you know, and I know people who have bought them, you know, but at the end of the day, you get what you pay for, and if you paid full price for it or if you didn't and you've got this camera, it's an absolute beast for the money. A lot of people think it's overpriced. I don't think it is at all. You've also got the RX10 Mark III and the 2, and obviously the original one before that. The R3 is around about 1,200 quid. You could probably buy it cheaper than that, I don't really know without looking too much on the internet. The other options are the Canon PowerShot SX70 or similar, around about the 550 marker. The Leica Velux Type 114, which is about £1,000. That was showing up as not available in a lot of places, so I guess that's either been discontinued or I don't know. The Panasonic Lumix FZ1000EB. There was showing a Mark II version. I don't know if the EB is the Mark II version or what, but that's about £500 or a little bit less. Obviously the RX10 Mark IV, which obviously is kind of like the Sony A1, the all-in-one, can do pretty much everything very, very well, but obviously in a bridge format as such. And obviously if they do release a new version of this that does pretty much give you a lot of the things the A1 can do, that's a win, you know. And to be honest, if it was £2,500, I'd buy it tomorrow. I think it would be worth every single penny. You know, the fact that it's in quite a small form factor, it just works. The other option is obviously you've got the Coolpix from Nikon, the P950 and the P1000, £200 difference. The mega zoom cameras, the quality is pretty good in video, stills, yeah, okay, but the sensor is pretty much half the size of the RX10 Mark IV. So thinking about that, you know, there isn't that many other options other than to try and buy another new RX10 Mark IV. A lot of people have bought these, not got on with them very well. A lot of the people I've seen who've bought them, I've obviously had many questions about the RX10 Mark IV over the last few years on YouTube, and a lot of the time people have bought this thinking, oh, it's amazing, I've seen all the pictures all these different people are taking and they're really, really good, and then they struggle with it. What people don't realise before they buy it, yes, it's got a premium price, but it's pretty much a pro level camera in an all-in-one body. Obviously it's got a smaller sensor, but the amount of settings and control, speed and all that sort of stuff in the body is bang on. In fact, it can do things that, you know, even the A7R4 can't do, and even what the A1 can't even do. So, you know, all those sort of things come into play, and obviously it's a 1 kilo weight. The reason I bought this originally was I was getting fed up with carrying the big 150 to 600 Sigma around, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to sell that. It was before they brought out the 200 to 600 Sony or even the 100 to 400 G Master. So we were kind of limited on big zoom lenses that were obviously a little bit lightweight. But I thought, do you know what, 24 to 600? You know, oh, awesome. You know, it's gonna work really, really well. And if it is as good as they say it is, you know, no compromise quality in the optics, super fast focusing, blah, 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 blah. Its biggest Achilles heel, the RX10 Mark IV, is that you can't zoom in and out whilst you're focusing. And that's why I would love a manual zoom lens. So you can still obviously back out or zoom in and still focus at the same time. Luckily, the workaround is basically let off, zoom in a bit and refocus. Because it focuses so quickly, I rarely miss it anyway. You know, I shoot fully manual most of the time. I'll say 90% of the time. Occasionally I might stick it in, you know, an S for shutter priority or even aperture priority sometimes, but very rarely. Because I can change and adjust the you know, the aperture and the ISO very quickly, and obviously the shutter speed as well. Like I say, this one's been bashed around and it's still going strong. It's got a few little grindy bits in there, like obviously, like I said, the sand's got inside of there, inside the ring. I don't know if you can hear that actually. It doesn't sound all that amazing. It's got better, so some of the sand has come out. So weather sealing wise, it's pretty good. You know, it can take heavy rain quite happily for a bit, but it's when you get in these areas, moving rings here, any sand or dirt flying around in the air can get in there, and it did get in there. I mean, I used a bit of alcohol and pieces of paper actually and ran it between the gaps until it actually started to come out, and it got better, which was fine. But like I say, you know, what options do we have? Not many. You know, if they say they're not going to release one, I'd probably just buy a new one of these, you know, another one of these, and just live with it. It would be nice if we could have an upgrade, but like I say, I just don't know, and there's literally nothing out there at all. A few rumours, obviously I've talked about it in other videos, you know, and some people have hated me for it or hated on it, but end of the day, you know, this camera is absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's not perfect, like I said before, but it's the way you use it. And now we've got things like Tobas, you know, noise AI and things like that. Even if you do shoot up to sort of ISO 1600, you can just get rid of the noise. It's quite amazing. So that opened up another avenue to using this camera with slightly higher ISOs and not really worrying too much. So that's really good. You know, could talk forever, but I just thought I'd put it out there and see what you guys think. You know, is there any other camera out there that you might think about swapping to if you can't get a new one of these? Has this been... two people actually have now said to me that Sony... probably one of the Sony service centres told someone that this has been discontinued. So the RX10 Mark IV has been discontinued. But it might be true, because actually trying to find some RX10 Mark IIIs now is actually getting rarer and harder to find. Obviously, there's only got a couple in stock in one place and a couple here or there. So, and the RX10 Mark IV seems to be out of stock in a few of the shops in the UK. So, like I say, it may be a case of they're just trying to sell all of the old units first, and once they've sold out, then they might release a new version. Just thinking of all the COVID stuff like that, you know, obviously economical wise, you know, why would you release something else when you've got old stock sitting there? You try and sell that first, I guess. I don't know, something to think about. But yeah, so just let me know down below in the comments what you think, what you are hoping for. You know, like I say, if Nikon brought something out, Nikon had released that new sensor, the 1-inch sensor that can do, was it 1,000 frames per second in 4K, which would be really cool. I mean, if they were to upgrade, pretty much do the camera as this, but give us better noise control and give us 4K high-speed slow motion HFR, I'd be well happy. I love the HFR setting on this. I've had people say, oh, why is it limited? But at the end of the day, you have got a larger sensor than something like a mobile phone, so the data rate that's coming off that is a lot higher. So you end up with smaller buffers and things like that, unless you put a massive supercomputer in here that's going to deal with it. So, you know, also things like upgraded screen. One of the biggest bugbears is this viewfinder. It's rock hard. It's not particularly comfortable to use. And the screen's too small. So if we had a bigger viewfinder and stuff like that, that would be awesome. But like I say, I don't want to talk about it too much because we don't know if we're ever going to get anything. I hope we do, like I say, and I hope everyone else is there thinking the same thing. Sony do monitor my channel now, which is quite cool, because when I obviously had a massive problem with the 200 to 687 R4, they had actually physically started watching and looking at the videos and looking at the comments and stuff. So hopefully they may be picking up on the fact that people do want a new camera. I know I'm only small fry, but you know, any information that they can gather, I'm guessing helps. So you know, your comments below will possibly help get an RX10 Mark V or something new. I don't know. Maybe they're going to bring out something new with a different name, different model. You know. So anyway, let's say please subscribe. Please click the notification bell as well. The like button is always good, and please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. It's just a bit of a throw it out there and see what happens, really. Hopefully, like soon, we get an announcement saying that they're going to release something. But like I say, we don't know. So anyway, I shall see you soon. Cheers.